Ah, man. Fan Duel is I'm back. And let's get ready for week 11. Uh, week 10 was pretty eventful, so to say. Man, the first thing I gotta say about last week is I'm just gonna make a take here for whoever wants to put a comment in the video. Look here, man. Justin Jefferson is by far the best wide receiver talent since. And let's not talk about recent because there's some really good guys that are out here recently, you know, and probably within the last 7, 8 years. You got Stephon Diggs, you got Jamar Chase, you got the AJ Greens, but I'm putting Justin Jefferson in the class of let's go back 15, maybe in the past 2 decades. We got to put him up there with as long as he stays healthy, he's definitely going to be. I don't know about greatest football player all the time. We're not going there. But when it comes to wide receiver talent, and just going down as one of the top 5, maybe even top 3 wide receivers all the time, man, Justin Jefferson is it. Justin Jefferson is like one of the best talents I've seen. Running routes, catching, just speed. Obviously, his natural body length just helps, just enhances all that. Like he's up there with Calvin Johnson. The way he goes and gets the ball reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, and man, he does display some elusibility, and he does show some strength in the open field, like 15, 20 years ago, a young Andre Johnson. So that's my main take on that. I mean, the guy's just amazing. The guy's just amazing. I love watching him play. I understand some people probably have Jamar Chase as probably the best wide receiver now. Some people have Cooper Kupp, rightfully so. And there's probably some people that's on Stephon Diggs. You're all right with that. They should all be in the top 4, top 5, however you want to mix it up. But man, oh man, oh man, Justin Jefferson is something special. He is something special. But amongst that, uh, like I said, let's get on. Let's get on with the. That was. I mean, that's the main part of the review that I really want to talk about. It was just how great Justin Jefferson was. I mean, there was some great performances. Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard had another solid performance. Big ups to Justin Fields, who's now the hottest commodity in fantasy right now. Um, I mean, yo, these guys are just amazing. Just pure greatness. It was just a great, another fun Saturday. I mean, another fun Sunday of football. I didn't do too well, but injuries happen, and that's exactly what I feel this episode is pretty much all going to be about, and opening up value. And we're going to start at wide receiver because with all the injuries, that's where the value is going to be. So I'm just checking up on some hockey scores right now. I got some nice sized. I bought one ticket myself for 33, and then I won 2 other tickets. So I got 3 entries in the big NHL goal. $33 entry. It didn't fill. Just on the. I would say there was maybe under 100 left. I'm not too sure exactly. I would say 70 to 80 slots still didn't fill. So I don't know. Hopefully my 3 entries are doing okay. I'm in position to make a run at the end because I did cover my ass and get some good plays in the beginning. Like I said, 3 lineups, I can only go so much. Florida's doing okay. Even though Pittsburgh's losing, I got some of the goals there. Doesn't help my goalie, but we'll see. We'll see how it ends. We'll see how it ends. But hopefully at the end of the night, me having a little bit of Detroit at Anaheim, and going different routes with the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're the last game of Detroit and Vegas are the last games of the night. Something like it's kind of like basketball with a big slate. Sometimes people, unless like they're a very popular team, some people will forget to or kind of fade the last 2 games of the night and just try and get as many points as they can. There's a lot of goals being scored. So if you did, if people did get the right people, if DFS did get the right people, especially in the Vancouver Buffalo game 5-3. Toronto 4-2, Dallas, Tampa Bay is 3-3. You're looking pretty good. You just gotta hope that no other game or the last 2 games blow up on you. But that's just the way it goes. Enough of the hockey news. Let's get into next week's slate. As usual, we will preview what is going on. I'm just looking at my hockey scores right now, but going into week 11, let's go into the full scoreboard or the full preview. And for week 11, let's preview who are the teams that, let's just, as usual, we'll go over who's not on the schedule. So, not on the schedule for week, whoa, that went by a little fast. All right, here we go. All right, so Titans Packers on a Thursday night game. So no King Henry, no Rodgers, no Adam Lazard, no Packers defense. We'll look into the Sunday slate, and before I even mention the buys, a lot of big guns not being there. Chiefs and Chargers, a great Sunday night matchup, but that means no Patrick Mahomes, no Justin Herbert, no Austin Eckler, no Travis Kelce. Neither Chiefs or Chargers defense will be available on that slate. The Monday night game, we have 49ers and Cardinals, which means no McCaffrey, no Garoppolo, no Debo. Maybe if he was gonna feel a little bit better, it doesn't matter anyway because he's on the Monday game. No Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, no James Conner, and neither one of those defenses can be picked. And then on top of that, on bye. It sucks that they're not on the slate, but I think it makes the slate that much interesting to have big guns like the Chiefs, and then to not have the Dolphins, Seahawks on the slate. I focus on those two because a lot of big players right there. Seahawks defense, especially if they're at home. Oh man, the running back's name slips me right now. I'm sorry for that, but also no Metcalf, no Lockett. The Dolphins, that's this year's holy trinity. The Tua stack, no no Tyreek Hill, no Tua, no Dolphins defense, no Waddle. The Buccaneers are off. They're starting to turn things around. So no Brady, no Godwin, no Mike Evans, no Fournette, no Buccaneers defense, and Jaguars. No Travis Etienne, no cheap stack with Trevor Lawrence, no Zay Jones. And hey, sometimes they perform well. No Jaguars defense. So this slate is already opened up interestingly. With the pricing and everything, people being priced up, you're gonna have to obviously, like every week, no slate's the same. You're gonna have to make decisions. So let's get right into the slate preview. We're gonna start at wide receiver. Like I said, a lot of injury news, so a lot of a lot of value is opening up. So let me just get this. I already got this set, but I just want to have the hockey joint in the background. There's a couple of games that I am focusing on for this contest that I'm in, guys. So just bear with me. Okay, that's fine. All right. So Buffalo scored again. Yeah, that Vancouver Buffalo game. If you stack that game alone, you're definitely in good standing. 5-4. That's 9 goals. So if you stack that game, you're definitely well off, and Tampa Bay just took the lead. Okay, so week 11, we will start with the wide receivers because, like I said, with the injury news, a lot of value and a lot of low-owned people that normally don't get picked will be they're going to be looked at. So let's take a look at the wide receivers first. First off, the biggest news. I mean, it sucks fantasy-wise and football-wise. Who doesn't like watching the guy? He's third. Well, we'll start off with third and fourth because they're both out of action. Jamar Chase still out with the hip. Like I said, he's out 8 weeks. Like I said, Jamar Chase will be back till mid-December. The big news is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp got placed on IR. That ankle injury was serious. I saw the play, the way it rolled up. Before, when I saw it happen, it was just bad. Ankle surgery, and hopefully it's sounded to be a minor procedure, I guess, to help out with the swelling and the tendon issues and everything. So he's on the injury reserve with the minimum of 4 weeks. So they're obviously looking forward to him trying to come back. I would definitely say, though, knowing Cooper Kupp, he's going to want to come back. If the Rams between now and those 4 weeks, which would be mid-December, somehow are falling out of the playoffs because they seem to be slipping out of the favor now, I say save Cooper Kupp. He already lost 4 games, so I guess him trying to play the last 3. I mean, what is he doing? Like trying to get stats and make the Pro Bowl? I don't think so. You save that man for his future. Get ready for that man's big contract. So, But the big news about that is we're gonna start going around a little bit. Uh, it opens up a lot. It definitely opens up a lot. We'll jump the tight end real fast. Why? Because fantasy talk going around, the chalkiest guy who's probably the best cash play at tight end, it opens up a lot. Is Tyler Higbee. New Orleans is good at guarding the tight end, the second rank in fantasy DOA. But Tyler Higbee, he's the second this year. As you can see, he's been Matthew Stafford's second favorite target. And that's also if Stafford gets cleared from the concussion protocol. But the pass has got to go somewhere. The pass has got to go somewhere. Like the running game is inept, so everything opens up for the Rams. And as we go to the wide receivers, we're gonna have to go all the way down for these guys. As a matter of fact, let me just keep it simple and just group it. There we go. And when I group it this way, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. So Cooper Kupp is out. So next in line definitely will have to be Allen Robinson, 6,600. He's good. These are guys you're not going to be comfortable with, but once again, fantasy is a game of opportunity, and the opportunity is going to go there. Cooper Kupp over third. I don't know the exact number, but it's still a lot when I say his fantasy opportunity share. His usage is 33%. 33% divided up evenly is a lot to go to people like Allen Robinson at 6,600. Van Jefferson. I'm a fan of Van Jefferson. I love the way he plays as a slot. I kind of like him at 5,600. And then, of course, the guy who seems to be a definitely a short mini version of him. Doesn't run many deep routes, but he's definitely their possession receiver. Ben Skronik. Ben Skronik is 5,300. And he's had a couple of, decent games. Obviously with Kupp and these guys in front of him. So, earlier in the season, Ben Skronik, he only has one double-digit game, but when you look at the when you look at what he's done behind, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson was out a lot, so Ben Skronik they get a decent bit of looks. He's been a part of the offense all year. Starting from the Buffalo game, 6 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets, 3 targets, and then he jumped up to 8, 5 targets. Has yet to score a touchdown yet, but listening to these numbers, and I've been emphasizing targets these last few weeks. Ben Skronik at 5,300 definitely is worth a look. Last week with the backup Walford, and if Walford is the quarterback, then look for Skronik to be a great value because Skronik got 7 targets last week, only caught 2 balls, but he was thrown at 7 times by Walford. So if Walford stays in, he might like throwing it to Skronik, but if you ask me, I definitely like Van Jefferson. In that case, let's ungroup this now and have the whole wide receiver slate going, and we'll just have to start at 1 and 2 with a couple of guys that I was just talking about. Stephon Diggs, 9,400 at home against Cleveland. This is another one of those like, hey, Buffalo's angry. Yes, Josh Allen's playing hurt. I mean, he did look fine, but he's been turning over the ball. He's at home. And they're gonna be looking for revenge. So the case is in that Buffalo game, can Chubb do enough to slow down and keep that high powered offense off? Can Jacoby Brissett manage the game enough to keep them in it? But Stephon Diggs, he's another target monster. I think his usage is somewhere between 17 and 22%. The man, Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna be looking forward to watching that and watching whoever matches up in the Dallas secondary going against Justin Jefferson. But I think he's one of those guys that no matter what team is, I think people like Justin Jefferson, sometimes Stephon Diggs, and Jamar Chase, Kupp, those are the kind of guys that are just matchup proof. They're matchup proof. For you to worry about them, they have to go against like elite cornerbacks, like the Patrick Surtains of the world and things like that. But Diggs 9,400, Justin Jefferson 91. You know me, after I opened up the video saying what I said, I would flip-flop that. It should be Justin Jefferson, 94, maybe even 95. And then Diggs at like 92, 93. But it is what it is. I don't work for Fan Duel, just giving you my opinion. Devontae Adams against Denver. Devontae Adams will be getting the Patrick Surtain matchup. That's guaranteed. When they did play, obviously, me paying attention to Denver, the one thing I remember about that game is Josh Jacobs running for 158. In the Denver game, and I know he went up against Surtain a lot, in the Denver game, he still They will put him in the slot. They'll move him around. And Devontae Adams did have a solid game. Devontae Adams, say what you want about the Raiders, but at least Josh McDaniels, being the offensive guru that he is, knows damn well he can't leave him on Patrick Surtain on one side of the ball. So Patrick Surtain doesn't 100% shadow. He does, man one side most of the time. But I'm pretty sure they're going to want him to man up more on Devontae Adams. In the Denver game, 13 targets, 9 receptions for 101. Didn't score. That's bad for fantasy because for a regular season long, 15 is fine. You want more from Devontae Adams, but 15 is fine when you're playing in the season league. In DFS, he needs that touchdown. Patrick Surtain does not give up touchdowns like that. He may give up the yards against an elite guy like this, but for Devontae Adams to really clear his day, he needs one of those like Jacksonville days where he scored 2 touchdowns, or against Indy last week when they blew that game and he scored a touchdown because that touchdown gets him into the 20s, gets him into the low 30s. So he needs a touchdown. It's going to be tough. Devontae Adams is still worth a play, but it's going to be tough. We'll keep going down. AJ Brown hurt himself in the Eagles' first loss. He did not come back 100%. He did not look the same. So be wary of that. It's still too early for injury tags unless the injury's pretty obvious like Cooper Kupp. But AJ Brown did just play last night. But he did get back in the game, but he never looked the same. Right now, there is no reports on anything, but you're just gonna have to monitor his health during the week. We'll find out stuff obviously starting tomorrow with first practices, and there will be early injury designations from there. So AJ Brown, going into Indianapolis, they're playing on a high boost. They're going on the road. They'll be at Indy on the road with Jeff Saturday, the new coach. So, play with that what you will. CeeDee Lamb, another target monster. I got a feeling CeeDee's in for another big game because Minnesota is a pretty decent run defense. Whether if Zeke is healthy to come back, Tony Pollard can be explosive, but that's the game I think that's going to blow up. I haven't looked at Sportsbook or anything like that, but that's the game I think that's going to score the highest. Dallas at Minnesota, so that should be a solid game. And like I said, if you're going to attack Minnesota, you're going to have to, like the Buccaneers, you attack them through the air. Amon-Ra St. Brown at the Giants for 7,800. Oh, sorry if I didn't say it. CeeDee Lamb is at 81. T. Higgins he's absorbed a good amount of the target share for the wide receiver core. He's at a nice 76 against a soft Pittsburgh. Against a nice Pittsburgh secondary. Pittsburgh does get a boost. That's how good J.J. Watt is. So just be careful of that. Terry McLaurin, hey man, I told you that man was going to change. I said it. He has a connection with Taylor Heineke from when Taylor Heineke started a couple years ago. Terry McLaurin against Houston, like I said, Houston is a solid Houston, the worst run defense, but like I said, they play hard for Lovie Smith, and they're pretty decent against the pass. But the target share that Terry McLaurin gets, I mean, he's worth a play. He's definitely somebody in my eyes too. It's been 3 weeks since Taylor Heineke's taken over, and he's gotten decent target share. Like he had a 9, 6, 6, 4, but ever since Heineke's taken over, 8, 8, 9, 11, the man's getting the targets. So for 7,300, somebody who's getting that kind of target share, definitely worth a look in my book. Amari Cooper at Buffalo at 7,200. You got Gabe Davis, and going against a very susceptible secondary. Look for Gabe Davis to get another one deep. I got a feeling he's going for a deep one against Cleveland. Bottom 10 ranked, I think, pass defense, 7,100. I mean, hey, it's all about opportunity, and the Raiders are all weak in the secondary, but Denver's pretty much a mess right now, and I personally don't think Jerry Jeudy plays next week. Not with that injury. He's not, and if he does, he's not going to be 100%. Cortland Sutton gets a boost at 7,000. Chris Olave is most likely gonna draw Patrick Ramsey, who does quite a bit of shadowing himself. So, but here's the thing. I like the Chris Olave because, like I said, Ramsey can't get beaten deep. And now Jameis Winston has a starting job. With Jameis under the helm, that ball is going to go even deeper. He's going to air it out. Olave is a great GPP play because Olave, if there's anybody who has the opportunity to catch like too deep or have like that Gabe Davis game early in the year back in September. This week, I honestly think it's Chris Olave with James Winston back on the QB. Uh, that's another bottom. That's another bottom 10, bottom 8 defense in pass. He's 6,900. Tyler Boyd partnered up with Higgins at 68 against Pittsburgh. DJ Moore against Baltimore, 6,700. Like I said, we went over Allen Robinson already, 6,600. Another one of my favorite plays. He's definitely going to get a boost. He's going to get more popular. He's probably going to be more owned than he has ever been all year. Like I said, with this guy being somewhat slowed down, AJ Brown has a history of being dinged up and injured. He sometimes plays through injuries, but sometimes there's injuries that just hinder him, and sometimes he gets ruled out. So if there's any week to feel comfortable playing Devontae Smith, it would be this one, 6,400. Even though they are a solid secondary and playing at home, Devontae Smith is a solid play this week. Other favorite plays that I like, Curtis Samuel. Why I like Curtis Samuel, not only is he a wide receiver, but he gets carries against the worst rush defense. Like I said, they're a decent pass defense, but if Curtis Samuel can at least get 5 carries, I think he could do something with that fantasy opportunity at 6,100. Brandon Cooks is fully healthy. I think that wrist has healed up. He has a nice price tag at 6,100. He's been in the sixes all year, but now this is a great place to play him. Like I said, gets great target share. Once again, you've heard me say it, and now he's making his debut. Chase Young is back because there was rumors he was going to try and get back early, but it was way too soon. Chase Young is back. So, he's not in the class of TJ Watt, but he makes a huge difference, pass rushing and helping with the run defense. So that's another thing. Washington's on high. Washington just beat the Eagles. They're feeling a little hot, and they're looking to probably beat on one of the worst teams in the league. So, but fantasy opportunity will most likely have Houston passing toward the end if Washington gets up. So that's another key play right there. Just key in on that. Like I said, you may not like the player, but I'm giving you the scenarios that most likely will happen and why they're good plays. Darnell Mooney's starting to see a little bit of action more and more with the evolving Justin Fields going against a bad defense in general in Atlanta. And like I said, playing in the dome, that's even better. You don't have to worry about the weather of Chicago and everything like that. So Darnell Mooney at 6,000. And then if we keep going down, like I said, right now Jerry Jeudy is questionable at 6,000. I don't think he plays. You can also look at George Pickens, home against Cincinnati. He's also 6,000. And then if we keep going down, what other players do I like? I already said Vance Jefferson. Can Claypool get one deep against a bad Atlanta defense? 5,600. We got Zach Pascal down here, 5,400. Jarvis Landry. Look for some of those New Orleans wide receivers at 5,400. Mac Hollins, like I said, ravaged wide receiver core. So why not go with another hit at Mac Hollins, 5,400. Can Isaiah McKenzie sneak one after Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs gets all the attention at 5,300? Like I said, we already spoke about Ben Skowronek. He's also 53. Hey, if he's hurt and attention goes to Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins looks like a decent player at 53. Kendall Hinton on Denver for 52. Like I said, I don't think Jeudy plays at all. And if you don't mind, KJ Hamler's also questionable. KJ Hamler's questionable at 5 even. But here's the guy that I want to bring up, and just want y'all to there's 2 guys. And now with more wide receiver news with the injuries and everything like that, and now with the QB change, that ball is going to get aired out more, so it's going to hurt Alvin Kamara, because when Jameis Winston was the quarterback, he didn't really throw it to Kamara like that. Kamara was definitely more of a running back. But he was a healthy scratch. I like Marquez Callaway, but also Traquan Smith is the number 3. With Jarvis Landry back. Marquez Callaway was a healthy scratch. I think they got Marquez Callaway. Traquan Smith is at 5,000, but the guy I want to really talk about is Marquez Callaway. Marquez Callaway had a little repertoire. He built up a little repertoire last year with Jameis Winston. I had him in, the reason why I know this so well, because, this is just DFX experience. I remember when Callaway came in, he was a burner, athletic. I picked him in a couple preseason slates. Jameis did try to hit him deep, short, and everything like that. So if he's active, put this in the notes because it's easy to forget these guys down here. Marquez Callaway, this is a GPP play though, for real. 4,800 Marquez Callaway. He was a healthy scratch because, like I said, Landry came back off injury. But if Winston's back in QB, don't be surprised if Winston talks to the offensive coordinator or the coach and be like, hey, activate Marquez and, I need him on some maybe he could be my third receiver, or maybe he could be my fourth receiver in some four receiver sets. Because technically they run a three wide out with they run a three wide, or sometimes they have the tight end in there, so that takes up the spot for Callaway. But I think if he's activated for that game, look for Marquez Callaway. Do not forget about Marquez Callaway this week. But like I said, he has to be active. He was a coach's decision CDDMP last week with the Landry return. So I'll leave that right there. But 4,800, like I said, Winston did target him a lot when he was there last year. And speaking of Winston, segue. Aha. Let's go to Josh. Let's start with Josh Allen, the QB. Josh Allen, always a great play. Why not 9,200? Jalen Hurts, 8,800. You got Justin Fields, 8,700. Lamar Jackson, 8,400. Joe Burrow, hey, he could have another big 3 TD game. Like I said, if they could protect him from TJ Watt, if they could protect him and not force him to keep pitching, going short, and then maybe Mixon takes advantage of that, Joe Burrow is in line for a good game. But like I said, he's in that offensive line has to protect Burrow for that to work, because Steelers defense is starting to get healthy, and they got their best player back, most importantly, just like the Redskins are doing. Daniel Jones at home against Detroit. Man, I'm surprised he's this expensive at 78. 75 to me is Daniel's limit. I'm surprised he's even sniffing 8,000. But like I said, beating up on going against another bad defense, whatever. But like I said, it's another defense that plays up for their coach. But last week he did his job. 2 TD passes. He was a nice cheap stack. If you got the value for him last week, I think he was 73 or 75 last week. 18.28 Fan Duel points. So he did his job. He did his job last week. And like I said, he has no problem doing it on his feet. Kirk Cousins, like I said, that Kirk Cousins Dallas game, 76. Right next to him is Dak Prescott, 75. Just prepare your stacks either way. Whoever you're going to use, stack it right. Anywhere else going down? Who else do I like? Hey, I like Heineke going against Houston, 6,800. And that is pretty much it. Like I said, watch out for Matthew Stafford, 6,700, but still crushable with a concussion. That's pretty much it. Quarterback is pretty much clean, done. And yeah, Jameis taking the starting job back all the way down at 6,600. All right, jumping to running back. After that, it's pretty much after this long rundown, it's pretty much short from here. But I really wanted to get into wide receiver. Let's start off with Saquon. Saquon, 97. Surprised he's not 10,000 yet. The man's getting almost 40 touches a week. Enough said. I don't got nothing else to say. Home against Detroit. What else you want me to tell you? Joe Mixon on the road at Pittsburgh for 9,000. So a bit of a gap there. So if you don't want to pay up all the way up for Saquon, you want somebody who's getting a workhorse value like Saquon, or at least something close to Saquon. You got 9,000 Joe Mixon, and you also got a healthy Jonathan Taylor going against a Philly defense at home. Helps to be at home. 8,700. Josh Jacobs, this time on the road. But like I said, last time they played against Denver, Josh Jacobs ran for one. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to say it was 158 in week 2 or 3, whatever it was, against Denver. Josh Jacobs against Denver. 28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had 6 targets, caught the ball 5 times, and had 31 yards. Had 32 FanDuel points. And I think if he wasn't the highest, he was the second highest that week on FanDuel. And that was back in week 4, October 2nd. Let's go down. He's going to get the opportunity to hold these guys on the sideline. Like I said, Nick Chubb at Buffalo, 8,400. Dalvin Cook, home against Dallas at 83. Ramondre Stevenson, he's okay. Just run defense is tough. 8,100, tough sell for me there. Tony Pollard, 8,000 even. I got a feeling he will still be playing. I think even if Zeke is healthy, Zeke won't be at 100%. I think Zeke needs one more week. That's just me. You want to talk about workhorse users? Damian Pierce doesn't catch the ball, but going against Washington, like I said, we'll see the impact of Chase Young, 7,600. Damian Pierce is pretty much the same price he was last week. Alvin Kamara, what's dangerous about Kamara? Like I said, Jameis did not throw it to him a lot in the slot. Hopefully, maybe the offense, the way it is now, they'll probably emphasize him to check it down to him. But I'm just going on last year's habits. Jameis Winston does not throw to Kamara at all like that. So 7,500. We got Miles Sanders at Indy 7,300. If we keep going down, like I said, Zeke is 7,000 even. Gus Edwards trying to come back from injury. He's 6,800. Both are questionable with leg problems. Zeke with the knee and MCL. Gus with the hamstring. Kenyon Drake. If Gus doesn't go, Kenyon Drake looks like a solid option. At 6,800. Cordero Patterson. Like I said, weak Chicago defense. 67. DeAndre Swift seems to be getting stronger and stronger. He's at 67 as well. Hey man, it's just a coin flip, but it looks like it's Brian Robinson's job. Brian Robinson going against the worst rush defense. You gotta attack Houston. 6,600 for Brian Robinson. Also, Antonio Gibson the same price as well. Look here, man. Devin Singletary definitely got a lot of more opportunities. It seems like they're trying to take a little bit more pressure off Josh Allen with the ball. He's healthy enough to play, but they don't want to put the full wear and tear of him throwing the ball 39 to 45 times. So Devin Singletary 6,400 against Cleveland definitely looks like a solid play. He did not have a game like this since like last year's playoff, and with Josh Allen nursing that arm against Minnesota, another bad run, another somewhat okay run defense. It wasn't like he did, great or whatever, but he pretty much salvaged the day with 2 touchdowns, 13 rushes, 47 yards. The thing was, Devin Singletary's 13 rushes is like his third highest all year. He has a lot of single-digit games. And like I said, there are days where they're just flinging the ball, and sometimes they'll throw it to him in the slot. But he did get, that's the one thing I will key on Devin Singletary. He got a lot more rushing attempts, so that is key. As you keep going down here, what else do we like here? David Montgomery is probably going to see even more of a workload. Like I said, Justin Field does run the ball a lot, takes opportunities from him, but David Montgomery should see a full workload because he will be the man. Khalil Herbert with a hip issue, he's also on IR. So David Montgomery 6,200 at Atlanta. With Cordero Patterson back, I guess you could take a look at Tyler Algier, I guess. And then after that, maybe if it's a fast-paced game, maybe Kareem Hunt gets some passes out the flat for 5,800. That's a possibility. And after that, I really don't see anything else that I really like. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. So that means we can go to tight end. What's my timer looking at? Okay, just a little half hour. All right, guys. So we're almost done here. Normally tight end is pretty quick, and then we just go to the defenses. So, got to pay attention to injury news. Mark Andrews, questionable this week with a shoulder, 77. There's a big drop from 77. Why? Because Dallas Goedert will be out a few weeks with a banged up shoulder. He's 68, but he's already, it says doubtful on Fan Duel. He is out. TJ Hawkinson is pretty much the next one. If you're not going to Andrews, then you're going to TJ Hawkinson for 65. That is a $1,200 drop. We already spoke about Tyler Higbee, 6,200. What's the use of Taysom Hill? That's a GPP play. He's a wild card now with Jameis back. It's just how they use him. You gotta I kind of like Dalton Schultz this week, 5,900 against Minnesota. David Njoku's also a key weapon. Is he gonna be back with his ankle against Buffalo? 5,800. We'll see. Cole Clement's on the tear. He's still in the 6,000. I still think you need to take care of that. I'm not a Foster Moreau believer. I'm not at all, but he's 5,600 if you want to play him. After that, Pat Frymouth against Cincinnati, 5,400. Hayden Hurst, as always, I always bring him up. Since the Jamar Chase injury, he's seeing his steady 8, 5 to 8 targets a game. It's just a case of can he get an end zone to make up for his price at 52. And then of course Dawson Knox, uh, red zone threat. Juwan Johnson, he should be a big. He's back healthy after nursing the injury. He's old. He's always a red zone threat as well, just like Dawson Knox. But I think with New Orleans, they throw it to him more than the occasional how Buffalo throws it to Knox. Juwan Johnson, 5,100, and then after that, if I got a touchdown out of him last week. If Njoku's out again, Harrison Bryant went from 48 or 47 last week, and he's now at even 5,000. So that pretty much wraps up tight end. Oh, and I guess it's been a few weeks since the eye injury for Daniel Bellinger. If Daniel Bellinger is in, I would definitely love playing him at 4,800. He is a nice target, and Daniel Jones does look for him. Not just inside the 20. He does get looks outside. Before the injury, Daniel Bellinger, like I said, everything literally runs through Saquon. So, and I'm not saying Daniel Bellinger is getting 7, 8, 9 targets, but before that injury, Daniel Bellinger was getting looks 5, 3s, 4s, 5. So the max is 5. Giants wide receiver corner needs as much help as they get. If he can get one of his comfortable red zone targets, then hey. Before that injury, he went from 8, 6, 3.4, then had a 9.4, jumped to 12.3, and then had the eye injury. I like Daniel Bellinger this week. If he's healthy and ready to go, another smart tight end value. If he's available, I'll be doing the Harrison Bryant or him again to save a little money to pay up for some of these high options. Let's go to defenses. Let me just take a look at something, fellas. Just want to check on this, how this hockey shit is going. Florida trying to hang on. Jersey kicking ass. Toronto beat Pittsburgh. Philly tied. Oh, Columbus just scored again. Minnesota started to score. I still haven't touched them. And the 2 10 o'clock games dropped the puck in 14 minutes. So I should be able to finish this by then. All right. And let me just check on something here. So, for defenses this week, I like my pay-up options. I'm also going to give you my pay-down options like I usually do. So, for the pay-downs, we don't start with the pay-downs. We go from pay-up, of course. Okay, so let's go. Defenses, New England against the Jets. I understand the Jets have been playing great, but like I said, Jets aren't the most explosive defense. New England is a tough defense, plus they're at home. They're the top pay-up option at 5,000. You gotta like the Eagles on the road because they're mad losing their first game. And Indianapolis, yes, playing at home, yes, with the boost of Jeff Saturday, but guess what? They're not the most explosive offense. Eagles could turn over Matt Ryan. That's another thing. Matt Ryan will be prone to throwing those interceptions. Baltimore against Carolina. Like I said, New England's not a world beater either. Like I said, Jets can defend the run. Can they get Mac Jones to throw some interceptions? Jets also solid option at 4,600. Buffalo at home 4,500. That's looking to avert that bad loss. They're on the road against Minnesota. That's going to be tricky. Now, even though I did say anything about Chase Young, I'm going to say using both of these guys, Houston against each other. Houston at 4,300. They got Washington at 4,000. Using either or is fine. I think using either defense is fine. Both quarterbacks are turnover prone. Neither offense is explosive. Both defenses should be able to hold them down. But like I said, Houston's run defense is an issue. So giving up a couple rush touchdowns will take down the game. You're definitely looking for Houston to create some Taylor Heineke turnovers, and you're looking for Washington to get some sack fumbles off Mills, and hopefully as well maybe pick off Mills a couple times too, because he is more prone to interceptions than Heineke. New Orleans, you're picking New Orleans due to the fact that you could have a solid $4,100 defense and have the Rams score maybe 9 points and just get a couple of sacks and meet their value. Without the pick six, yes, Matthew Stafford is known for the pick six, but with no Cooper Kupp, that ball will be, probably moderate and chucked down the field moderately instead for the big play. Now, will he look for Van? He does like to look for Van Jefferson deep. Might even throw a couple deep ones to Allen Robinson. But with no Cooper Cup, that defense, that offense is a whole lot different. New Orleans seems to be the safest play at 4,100. If we keep going down, my best pay down option to me, it actually might be the two defenses tied at both at 38. Pittsburgh, like I said, getting healthy at home against Cincinnati, and then you got the Giants at home against Detroit. Those are my top two favorite options. 3,800. Not as cheap as I've gotten before with a couple 35 and 3,400s, and sometimes I've even offered you some decent options at 3,200. But my favorite options there are the two guys at 38. To me, honestly, you got some solid options like in the middle from the 4,100s all the way down to like Giants and Pittsburgh. And if you keep scrolling down, to be honest, I really don't like any option here. I mean, maybe if Philly's on a slump, you might like Indianapolis hyped at home. They are at home, 3,500. That crowd can't get behind them. Maybe. I mean, but after, and you can also get away with. I think you can also get away with Detroit as well. Like I said, the New York Giants playing well, but they're not world beaters or whatever on the offensive end. Like I said, that game gets slowed down. If you get a couple of Dan Jones sack fumbles and everything like that, Detroit's a decent option as well, 3,600. But yeah, that's the Week 11 preview right there, guys. Hope you liked the video. I'll be definitely paying attention the rest of the night and sweating some hockey. Oh, good Lord. Washington, Florida just scored a couple goals. Hopefully some of my guys. They went from the game was 3-2 all of a sudden. The shit jumped to 5-2. Who did I get? Verhage scored the last two in internet, but I got. Okay, so Barkov got a couple of assists. Fine, I'll take that. I will take that. But yeah, guys. Good luck this week if you're playing your single games. But I'll try and bring out another video on Friday or maybe Thursday. But leave a comment if you have something to say about the take that I had on Justin Jefferson in the beginning. Leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about that. And other than that, good luck. And hey, stay safe out there. Thanksgiving's coming up. No wrong with me saying happy holidays. This is Grade A Fantasy. Signing off.